Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Patsun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/slash relationship advice, where we see evidence on why you should never wait for a relationship. Let's begin. Am I the asshole for telling my classmate that breasts can and are sometimes shaped differently? Posted by Reddit user Baron Von Delta.
I was at lunch the other day when I was just sketching for fun. The angle I was drawing it made the woman who I was drawing have one breast larger than the other. I took a bit of a hiatus from drawing, so my anatomy skills are kind of shit right now. My classmate, Ronaldo, was kind of giving me crap, which is usual when he said man can't even draw boobs right. He thinks they're different sizes. I kind of laughed because I thought he was joking and he said, "What are you laughing at?" I was kind of surprised and said, "You do realize that sometimes women have different sized or shaped boobs, right?" He adamantly said, "Nah, a girl can't have two different sized boobs," and the 3 or 4 girls in my class spoke up and said, "Yeah, it's actually more common than boobs that are exactly the same shape and size on one chick." I'm usually the butt end of most jokes in the class, so I took the opportunity to really argue with him, especially given the fact that he was deeply in denial, acting like it was unheard of, weird even, for one woman to have boobs that aren't the same size. I said, "Man, y'all think I'm foolish. This jackass doesn't even know basic female anatomy." He kind of shut up and didn't talk much for the rest of the day. Well, his buddy Ash told me that I was kind of an asshole for just piling on Ronaldo like I did, and a couple of my other male classmates said I was definitely being a dick. But come on. We're in college and Ronnie has dated 5 ladies since he was in high school and is now engaged. Hell, they never let up on me when I'm the ass end of a joke. But suddenly I have emotionally wounded this guy. I really don't think I'm wrong, but am I the asshole? Edit a day later. This morning when I came to class, Ronald apologized and said he just felt really stupid for not believing something every woman he's ever been in a relationship with has told him. He said all of his exes have had boobs that are super similar, most of them small enough that he didn't notice a difference, and he thought they were messing with him, and the fact that me and all the girls in our class shut him down is an eye-opener as to how thoughtless he can be with his fiancée, and in the future if he has a daughter. From the looks of it, he's going to be learning as much as he can about women's anatomy and health. He does, however, think I'm an asshole about how I carried on, and I pointed out that he and my classmates do it to me and I take it in stride. Me and him kind of argued and he said, "Well, we don't mean it," and I said, "Well, you still do it. It's fine. I think it's funny, but if you're gonna dish it out, be ready to take it back." He's still salty, but hey, it is what it is. I appreciate all the feedback.
Nope, you are not the asshole here, OP. If he is going to start slinging shit, then he better prepare to get some on him. Also, I think your so-called friends doesn't really see you as a friend. If all of them are piling on you most of the time, but is butthurt and salty when you do the same, I suggest reconsidering associating yourself with people like that. Finally, aren't you guys just 19-year-olds? Why the hell is he engaged? And now for today's second story. Am I the asshole for telling my friend it's her fault for getting married and having kids late because the world won't wait on her now? Posted by Reddit user That Interaction.
I have a 6-person girl group since college, and that includes Mary. We've been close throughout the years and have been at milestone events for each other. Mary just had a baby and is completely fitting the crazy new mother stereotype. In college, Mary has always been someone who had to make it known that she was unique and different from the rest of us, which wasn't as draining then as it has become now. For starters, all other women in our circle got married between the ages of 22 to 27, and we all have multiple kids. So the 5 of us were able to experience those milestones alongside one another and got closer as we shared similar lifestyles. Mary was very adamant on not settling until her 30s because she wanted to travel and have different experiences, which we all supported. Regardless, she would continue to make comments about how she's so lucky unlike us because we're tied down with husbands and babies. I think this is where she grew resentment towards us because we were in different places in life, and she was upset we couldn't have our group be similar to how it was in college. Then into our mid-30s it became a whole saga of she's getting older and can't find a husband, because all the good men are married or divorced with kids. When she finally got married, many could not attend because it was a destination event and child-free during COVID. This caused a fight because she said how she was there for us during our weddings, but we couldn't put aside a week for her. We had all told her how we wished we could, but it simply was not financially feasible and didn't logistically work with our kids. But she just refused to hear us out and was simply so inconsiderate about our lives and families, saying we were horrible friends. Now, Mary just gave birth to her first child and I was very excited for her. The only issue is that she moved from our state to a very remote place that's only accessible by a 6-hour car ride. Her baby is 6 months old and none of us have been able to go up to visit her. I think she's been having a wrong idea of what a village is and has essentially demanded in our group chat that we come up for the holidays and help her out because she's having a hard time adjusting to the mom life. But this would entail we all take a week off, arrange childcare, figure out transportation, and book hotels during the holidays. It's gotten to the point where she's posting cryptic messages on Facebook bashing fake friends who won't be there for her. As much as I wish I could, I cannot physically support her in the way she needs me to do in this stage of life. It would have been completely different if she still lived in our city and this was earlier in life when we had less commitments and priorities. So I told her this and that if she was hoping for this big village and constant support, she should have thought about that when planning out her life because we can't all just pause our lives for her. So am I the asshole?
No, OP. Despite what the other comment says, I think you're not the asshole at all. She wanted to be a hoe and lived a single life all those years ago. And if what you're saying is true, she was looking down on all of you for starting a family. She can't just demand to halt your life just because she's miserable right now. That's just plain entitlement. It sounds like she just wants free babysitters so she could go out and pretend to be a young college student again. Look, man, you may want to distance yourself from this woman because I'm sure she's the type of girl that will cheat on her husband and will encourage you to do the same. And now for today's third story. My wife is very upset and emotional because her sister is having a baby. Posted by Reddit user Bushido Brown.
My wife and I have been together for 5 years. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, but overall, it's been an absolute blessing and we love and support each other. Within the last couple weeks, my wife has really wanted to have a baby. I'm all on board as I believe it'll level up our lives in so many positive ways. My wife learned yesterday that she was 4 weeks pregnant, but the baby wouldn't grow because of her high hormones. She took a Plan B early this month, so I think that played a part. Today, her sister texted her family group chat that she's pregnant again. This must have really triggered my wife because she FaceTimed me crying while I'm at work. She never FaceTimes me while I'm at work. Every now and then we'll call if there's something she really needs to tell me. I asked her what was wrong and she said her sister is pregnant again, and in my mind, I'm like, that's amazing, but clearly this upset her. So I asked, baby, why are you so sad? And she said something I couldn't understand and hung up on me. I called back immediately and nothing. So when I got home, I hugged and kissed her and asked to continue where we left off. I told her I asked why she was sad because I wanted to get a better understanding of her feelings first, of why she's upset, as opposed to jumping to conclusions and saying something even worse. Yes, I get that she wants a baby and hearing this news hurts, but I'd rather her explain it than me telling her. Anyway, she was like, imagine if you lost your job and the next day your best friend gets a 6-figure raise. While that irked me, I got where she was coming from. I told her I'm here for her and willing to listen. She's still upset and isn't talking to me. Edit. My wife took Plan B because we were celebrating her birthday and decided to go raw since we always use condoms. We've never tried to conceive a child together, but after recent discussions, before we even knew she was pregnant, we are now going to start trying for a baby in the next couple months. Any advice on how I can better console and support my wife? I don't think she's looking for a solution to how she's feeling, but I still feel bad and she's clearly very upset and giving me the cold shoulder. Edit. I'll leave the post here, but many people are discussing the pregnancy details. My wife just met with her actual OBGYN this morning and he essentially confirmed she wasn't pregnant and just had an irregular cycle, and to even confirm pregnancy, they will need multiple blood draws, like others have said. She finally started her period last night as well. If you have pregnancy advice for me, I no longer need it. Thank you.
Jealousy is one hell of an emotion, I tell you that. Anyways, I'm sure she'll get over it. But OP, are you really sure that you want to have kids with someone that got so angry and upset because her own sister has another blessing from God? Is that really the kind of person you want to be the mother of your child? And now for today's final story. She asked me to wait for her and then had sex with another guy. Posted by Reddit user Greetings from Harold.
A few years ago, this girl got added to my friend group and we sort of hit it off quick. We started to get really close as friends and have become some of the closest two people in the group. Eventually our conversations became flirty and soon enough, we found ourselves hanging out just the two of us much more often. My other friends noticed this change in the two of us and asked me if there was a thing going on between us, to which I told them at the time that there wasn't and that I was merely giving back the energy I was receiving from her. But after a few weeks I sort of realized that yes, I was indeed falling for her. We ended up having a conversation about it, me and her, and we both expressed interest in one another to be more than friends. We talked about what we loved about one another, what drew us in and overall, what we wanted to do about our feelings. She said she wanted to wait to finish school before she jumped into a relationship, but wasn't afraid to do the things that people in relationships do in the meantime. In my head, her asking me to wait for her meant exclusivity, so I agreed. Fast forward a few months and I'm hanging out at her place for a week and things don't really seem to be panning out the way either of us thought they would. She became slumped with schoolwork and I overall was just feeling neglected. I had offered beforehand to reschedule this hangout if she was going to be busy and she insisted on me coming to see her. My outing ends and I go back home and she doesn't talk to me for 3 days. After those 3 days, we sort of get back on track to where we were before. But I'm noticing signs that she's not as attached as she was before, so we have a conversation again. I ask her what's wrong and if I did anything over the trip and she assures me that I did nothing wrong and that she might be aromantic, but she still wanted to keep me around in her life.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
I asked her how long she'd had feelings of being aromantic and she said that it was even before we started talking and expressing interest in one another. So I feel a little bit lead on. She apologizes and I tell her that I still want her in my life as well and nothing could change that, but I wasn't ready to forgive her yet. A few weeks after that conversation though I find out through some other folks that went to a party with her that she had been having sex with another guy. I asked them when the party was and it was during the 3-day period when she wasn't really speaking with me. I know we weren't in a relationship, but surely that's enough to ruin my trust considering she was the one who asked me to wait for her to be ready for a relationship, right? I still love her as a friend, but I definitely feel hurt and like my trust was broken and I'm not sure if I should cut her off or not. TLDR, she asked me to wait for her to be ready for a relationship as she was swamped with school. I agreed. We hung out for a week and things kind of shift out of place to where she doesn't talk to me for 3 days. We had a conversation about it and she comes out as aromantic to me and apologizes for leading me on. We stay friends, but then I find out that during that 3-day period, she had been having sex with another guy while I was still under the belief that we wanted each other romantically.
I guess you just found out that you're just the plan B, just in case Chad's dumps her. She thinks you're a fool. A woman who really wants to be with you will not ask you to wait for her. She is treating you as a backup plan, my dude, as she explores her options. Don't be a donut. She doesn't really like you. You really should forget about this girl and stop communicating with her before she gets the chance to wreck you emotionally and financially. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.